Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And it really pertains to all businesses. Marty talked about the MLMs, but it's the traditional businesses throughout the world. And it really is the OnPassive digital blueprint. I mean, it really is when you start to understand what's happening, and it will unveil success. So it's a great title that you have there, Andy. But when we start to think about OnPassive, it's really important that people understand the context of OnPassive, where we've been, where we are today. And if you do that, then you're going to understand where you're going to be. And that's the most important part. Where am I going to be in a week, a month, a year? Where am I going to be and why? And it's that digital blueprint that OnPassive is built that gives you the understanding of where you're going to be. When we talk about traditional businesses, there are businesses out there, and I'll get to these businesses in just a second, that are very, very successful. Right now, they don't need anything, or they need very, very little. But a lot of businesses out there, doesn't matter what it is, they're not doing all that well. Maybe they're in the black a little bit, maybe they're breaking even, maybe they're in the red, but they're not doing all that well. And it is all about the digital transformation that companies have to make in order to compete in a modern world, in a digital world. If you don't do that transformation, it's really, really difficult for you to compete against those companies that are coming behind you that will do the digital transformation. Now, most digital transformations that companies try to do, they fail. 100%, 99%, they just fail. They cannot do it. OnPassive has brought into existence a way to come in, use the tools of OnPassive, use the knowledge of OnPassive to get that digital transformation. So these companies, now this affects everybody. These companies are going to be coming in to OnPassive, to us, you and I that are participating with OnPassive. And they're going to start using the tools of OnPassive. And they're not just going to use one tool. It's not going to happen. They're going to use 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, how many ever tools Mr. Mufareh comes out with, because again, Marty said it, these tools are above market value, they're less expensive, they're better than anything out there, and when you use them, there are tangible benefits that people will get from them. So these companies will come in and use the products of OnPassive because they help their business, because they help their bottom line, because they help everybody in the company. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're situated, whether you're CEO or you're the janitor. Digital transformation can help everybody do their job better, quicker, easier. And then you bring in AI, like Collins talked about, and it becomes even easier. There are things you can eliminate, move people over. There are a lot of things you can do within a business. So OnPassive, with all the businesses, especially those that aren't doing that well, they're going to come into OnPassive. They're going to use the tools of OnPassive. What does that do for you and I? How many people out there are in business? How many people are in each one of the businesses? How many people? I don't know. 5.6 billion? I mean, there's a lot of them. Those individuals are coming into OnPassive, and we know that all those individuals coming into OnPassive go underneath those people participating with OnPassive. That's before you've done anything, and we'll tell you what you can and can't do, and you can do things to expedite time, get to the place you want to be quicker. But that's before you do anything. OnPassive has already done that, and it really is remarkable when you think about OnPassive in context. If we take OnPassive today and we take them back 5 years, and they're the company they are today, and we try and launch that to the world, I don't think it would work, and I'll tell you why. It wouldn't work because people haven't had the time to absorb what OnPassive is and what they're going to be doing. And if you took OnPassive back 5 years, people would look at OnPassive and they would look at it as a destructive force. They would look at OnPassive and go, these guys are going to take over the net. They're going to drive me out of business. I want nothing to do with them. That's if you took them back 5 years. But what's happened over the last 5 years, and this is so critical to where OnPassive is today, the marketing they've done, the way they've set things up as they release O-Connect to the world, which they've already done, and what's going to be happening in the future. Because OnPassive laid the groundwork of what OnPassive is, it is not a destructive force. And in the mind of Mr. Mufareh, it never was. His mind was always to be a benefit to society, to people, to businesses, to government, to make a difference and make life better. That was his vision. That was his goal. But it took 5 years in order to put that out there so that people, when they see what OnPassive is, because it is massive today, and if you didn't understand it, it would be a little scary. This is what Mr. Mufareh has done. This is what Marty and Andy and Collins have done over the last 5 years. We've shown people that OnPassive is a benefit. We're here to help. We're not here to destroy. And that's a really, really powerful statement. We are here to build up, to bring solutions to the world that will help everybody. That brings me to those companies that are very, very successful. Very, very successful. There's a company out there. It's in the webinar platform business. It's been very, very successful. It does about $4.4 billion in revenue a year. Its market value is about 18 to 19 billion dollars. It pays its CEO $75 million a year. This is a big company. Now, when you look at OnPassive and you look at this company is just a little P. But in regular terms, it's a very, very big company. O-Connect has been released to the world. This company, their product is a webinar platform, a video conferencing platform. O-Connect has been released. What is O-Connect going to do with that company and that product? They might not take all the business that company has, but in about a year's time, they're only going to have a fraction of that business. This company will not be able to survive on its own. Is this what Mr. Mufareh wanted to accomplish? Marty said it earlier. No, it is not. Mr. Mufareh does not want to put anybody out of business. Now, I'll give you an example of the way I thought when I first came into OnPassive. When I listened to Mr. Mufareh, I came in, talked to Marty and Dan, and my statement was, we are going to crush the competition. We're going to knock them out of business. They're going to be gone. Nobody's going to be left. That was not the vision of Mr. Mufareh, and it took me quite a while to understand what he was thinking. He doesn't want to put people out of business. He doesn't want to be a destructive force in the world. He wants to build people up, build companies up, build everybody up, and he wants everybody to be able to share in the abundance of OnPassive. So we take this company that's very, very big today, tomorrow won't be very big. What's the solution? And Marty asked this a little earlier. What's the solution for those companies? What is it? What's the solution, guys? And there is one, and it's in the back of Mr. Mufareh's head. I think he's thought about this from day one. I think he knows what these companies can do to benefit and really, really be abundant within OnPassive. These individuals, they're going to lose their market. What can they do? They can come into the family of OnPassive. Mr. Mufareh welcomes everybody. And if you understand what's happening, you can bring your universe into OnPassive. You can take your customers, put them in O-Connect. They're absolutely going to love it because it's a better product at a lower price, and everybody within the company will benefit. Even those individuals that might have lost their job, they're coming into OnPassive too, gives them a way forward to develop an income, develop a residual income. This is how companies that compete with OnPassive, that are in the same niches of OnPassive, once they see what's happening, join the party. You're welcome. We want everybody. Come on in. And the only thing that will stop these individuals from coming in is sheer arrogance and pride. That's it. You know, when you see something that's barreling at you and you can't stop it, get out of the way. Don't sit there with your pride and go, not me. It's not going to come over me. Yeah, it will. And if these individuals lose that pride and understand that Mr. Mufareh, he wants you to come in. He wants you to participate. He wants you to do well. Now, everything that I'm saying, it is the blueprint, the digital blueprint of OnPassive. It is what is going to, it's what's going to help everybody benefit within OnPassive because of what Mr. Mufareh has done, because of the structure of OnPassive, because of what Marty and Colin said. It was made for success, as Andy put in his title. It is made for success. You can come into OnPassive and get to that point where finances just aren't an issue. You don't worry about them anymore. There's so much more involved in this, but I think it's important to understand what small companies, small, medium, large size companies are going to do if they're not doing all that well, and what the very, very large companies can do if they get rid of the pride. Come on into OnPassive. OnPassive is going to roll over the whole internet. It is going to happen, guys. And Mr. Mufareh has set up a system that you will succeed.